Welcome along to Film Talk. I'm Richard Edwards, and today we're talking about Sound of Metal, starring Riz Ahmed and Olivia Cooke, and directed by Darius Marder. The story centres around Ruben and Lou, two halves of Blackgammon, a heavy metal band that are touring around the US, living in an RV, travelling from one gig to another. Now, it's during one of those gigs that Ruben suddenly discovers that he's having some hearing problems, and very, very quickly, within a day or two, he's virtually lost all of his hearing. In a panic, he goes to a pharmacy for a hearing test, who refers him on to a doctor who does a more thorough examination and discovers that he's only got about 24 or 28% of his hearing left, but it's diminishing all the time. And Ruben's quite focused on how is he going to get his hearing back, but the doctor's saying, no, you're never going to get your hearing back. It's about preserving and keeping what you've got left. Now, Ruben's a former drug user. He's been clean for 4 years, but the experience of losing his hearing is really putting him under a lot of pressure, and there's a risk he might go back to his old ways.
I can't hear you. Do you understand me? I can't. I'm deaf. I'm deaf.
With Lou's help, they find a safe haven, a place where he can go, where there's other former drug users who are recovering, who also have hearing impairments. And it's there that they meet Joe, played by Raci, who's been nominated for an Oscar for Best Supporting Actor, and I can see why. Joe is a character who lost his hearing relatively late in life. He was in the Vietnam War. There was an explosion, and that explosion caused him to lose his hearing entirely. And as a result of losing his hearing, he became an alcoholic. Now he's recovering from that, and he's helping others who have similar challenges learn to come to terms with their new challenges in life.
I think it's important that you stay here with us right now, Ruben. We're looking for a solution to this. Not this.
Darius Marder is an experienced writer and director, and they say this is his first feature film, but actually it's his first fiction film. He's done a lot in documentary in the past, and his documentary background really does seem to come through in the direction of Sound of Metal. There's a cinematography style where there's the camera that's moving handheld, although Darius describes that not just as his point of view, but his point of hearing as well. And the whole construction of the film is to really give you an insight, not just visually, but from an audio perspective as well. And so, yes, there's interesting cinematography, and it does follow the character all the way through, and you do feel you're in a documentary most of the time. But there are opportunities where you want to see a bit more about what's going on. So instead of overlooking someone's shoulder and kind of peeping in on a conversation, sometimes you felt that you wanted to be right in there, right in the action, and experience not just what's happening to him, but some of the other people that he's meeting, certainly at the home, others who have hearing impairments, when they're sign languaging and he can't understand what they're saying, but desperately wants to be a part of the group. And when he's in a school helping deaf children, we want to see a little bit more about what some of these other characters are saying, what are they experiencing as he's going through this very difficult time. It's no surprise that the sound editing has been nominated for an Oscar and for a BAFTA. It is absolutely astonishing. The sound design for this film really does set it apart. You feel right from the beginning that you're not just an observer watching, listening as if you're outside what's going on. You're hearing what's going on. So when the sound gets muffled, when things go very quiet, when you can't understand what people are saying, that's what you're hearing from the film as well. So you really are, as Darius says, getting a point of hearing, not just a point of view. The performances are absolutely outstanding. Riz Ahmed, who plays Ruben, is absolutely fantastic in the role. You really do sympathise with him all the way through. You feel the tension, the drama, the absolute terror that he feels at times when he's lost his hearing. Here he is as a musician. He earns what living he can as a drummer in a heavy metal band. With Lou, the other half of the band, the other half of his life too. She's his partner. She's helped him recover from drug abuse. She's really, really important to him. And now he feels that he can't continue to play that supportive role for her, that he's letting her down. And that's what's driving him to get implants, very expensive implants. They don't have much money, but this is going to cost $40,000 to $80,000 to have the implants that might recover some of his hearing. And he wants to do that to support her, to continue being that drummer so that she can continue to work and achieve her dreams.
I need you to wait for me. Okay? You're it for me, Lou. You're my heart. You're it for me. Okay? You gotta wait for me.
Lou, the other half of the band, is played wonderfully by Olivia Cooke, and we see her incredibly supportive right from the start. And here's Ruben, who wants to carry on drumming. He wants to continue earning, but she says, no, this is dangerous. We need to look after you. We need to get you the help and support that you need. And she's a real rock that helps him through the crisis. So it's a really strong character, Lou, and played wonderfully well by Olivia Cooke. And as I say, Paul Raci as Joe, the leader of that little community, people with hearing impairments who are struggling with drug addiction, alcohol addictions, and trying to get their lives back on track. He really is a tour de force, a mentor that's helping Ruben get back onto an even keel. What's interesting about the production of the film is that it was shot chronologically, and what Darius says is it's very important for Ruben as a character played by Riz is to follow it all the way through. You can't cut from one scene where he's got good hearing to the next day you're filming a scene where he's got very bad hearing. He wants to see that disability, the loss of hearing, evolve over time. And so the film was shot over 24 days, but not consecutive days, pretty much in 3 blocks over different seasons over the course of a year, up and around Boston and Massachusetts. The other interesting part of the production is not just the sound design where you're hearing what Ruben hears, but you've got captions all the way through, because that's what somebody with a hearing impairment would see. They would be experiencing that film in that way. So you're not, as a hearing person, watching it in one way and a hearing impaired person watching it another way. We're all watching it in the same way. We're getting the same point of view, the same point of hearing. And that's a really interesting touch that I think makes a huge difference to your understanding and engagement with the film. Sound of Metal has, to say the very least, captured the imagination of the critics and those who run the various awards around the world. The list of things that it's been nominated for is incredible, not just with the Oscars and with the BAFTAs, but with many, many other awards from many different countries around the world. But if we pick the Oscars in particular, it's up for 6. That's Best Picture, Best Leading Actor for Riz Ahmed, Best Supporting Actor for Paul Raci, Best Original Screenplay, that's for Darius and his brother Abraham, who co-wrote the screenplay together. Best Film Editing, and of course, Best Sound. The sound design is absolutely amazing. It's a really different experience. It is so totally immersive. And if it wins for anything, and it could win in any of those categories, but if it wins for anything, the sound design for me is a real standout, absolutely top-line immersive experience. It adds so much to your understanding and appreciation of the film. So if you get the chance to see Sound of Metal either on a streaming service or on the big screen, you certainly recommended that you do that. It's a very challenging film to watch at times, but also a very rewarding film, and one I think you'll get an awful lot from. Please do tell us what you think and leave some comments down below. And if you enjoyed the video, do subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to hit that little bell icon to get a notification every time we release a new video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.